Hey, Progress fam. I want to have just a short discussion with you today and help you to actually define what does it mean for you to scale your business? Because this is a term that I find actually intimidates a lot of people, or they shy away from acknowledging that they want to scale their business because they don't actually know what scaling looks like for them. And I think a lot of people believe that if they're going to scale their business, that means they have to focus on their business all the time. They have to work on their business. They're not going to have a life. They're going to have to sacrifice their freedom to get there. And I don't think that that's actually what it means. I think that can be true for some people if that's truly what they want to put all their time, focus, and energy toward. But that's not true for a lot of people. And very simply, when I think about scaling a business or growing a business, those two things, those terms are used interchangeably by a lot of people. But I actually think of growth as incremental change, and then scaling is exponential change. And so, as an example of that, like incremental growth would be these steady improvements over time. And it's almost just the natural growth that your business experiences from sticking to it, from just staying in industry, staying in business time over time, and making sure that you're managing things well. And it's really like that organic growth almost. That may not necessarily be the case. Maybe you're working really hard and you're just growing marginally. Maybe it's 5% a year, and you're just consistently offering the same thing, just these little adjustments. Maybe you're not very intentional. Maybe you haven't worked that hard on growing, and that's okay. But then, like exponential growth, on the other hand, on the heels of the conversation yesterday around creating frameworks to scale your business, because that's so important that once you, especially with service-based businesses, that you can package up the results that you get people through like your unique method, right? And so when you think about exponential growth, like an example that I thought about is that maybe this business has a proprietary framework or system like the one that we want you to develop, and that you create that, you trademark it, you copyright it, whatever the case may be. And instead of delivering this framework or this system one-on-one or even one-to-many anymore, you package it up into like an online course, or maybe you even license it to other businesses or other providers or whatever the case may be. And so this allows you to be able to exponentially grow rather than incrementally grow. And so when I think about that, it's like we want growth to be simple, because I don't think that it's worth growing a business if it requires you to sacrifice what you value the most. And there's sometimes where it's like maybe you really do need to make sacrifices, and you got to be clear on what that looks like for you. And so I just wanted to ask a few questions today to help you get intentional about what does it look like to scale your business, because I think that more great people should grow their businesses, because when great people have great businesses, we help more people. And for me, my definition of scaling is simply helping the most amount of people that I possibly can with our products and services. And we want to change not just the clients and the customers that we serve. I want to build a team that allows people to come into a job where they wake up each day and they're excited about what they do. They see why what they do matters. They have gotten to step into their entrepreneurial role. That's what I consider my team members entrepreneurs, because how they're able to operate autonomously, and they also want to be led. But I have nothing but leaders on my team, and I'm so blessed to say that. Now, I say that often, and I don't want people to think that we don't have challenges. I absolutely have challenges with my team, whether it may be training or helping them to be more proactive in the way that they think about something, or just realizing like, hey, I didn't have a system around this and this slipped through the cracks. Those things certainly happen. And I still have such a great team that is actively looking for ways to free up my time, and they know that that's important. And sometimes they find things that I never would have even thought of. But when I think about what is the actual value to that, that they freed up my time, it actually helps me to see that it helped them to step more into their leadership. It helped them to learn. It educated them. It empowered them to be able to do that. And so when I think about building and scaling progress, I want to focus on building up the best, like the most bulletproof team. Because when I focus on taking care of my team really well, they're going to take care of our clients really well. And they do that. And I could not be more thrilled and blessed. And that's when you come into building a business, I think your focus really has to be on people first in all respects. And I don't mean on your clients and your customers, because that can keep you stuck in the day-to-day grind. And that's not what we want for you, because when you have this vision, we were born to be creators. And so we want you to be able to be in the position in your business as much as you possibly can so that you can focus on that big picture outcome, if you are that visionary person. Now, even if you're an integrator person, that doesn't mean that you should necessarily be stuck in the day-to-day grind. If you're that integrator that started your business, or maybe you're in a partnership and you're the integrator, that integrator, it doesn't mean that they should be stuck in the day-to-day. That person should be helping to define and refine the systems and processes in a lot of cases. And maybe they're the person that helps to orchestrate the team management and things of that nature. And then the visionary is the person that's really helping to set the goals. They have that bigger picture in mind. They're the dreamer. They are really the creator, but they're not the person that's going to link things together to make sure that they get done. Both of those things are extremely valuable. Neither one of them should be stuck in the day-to-day grind. Because when you have a business that serves people and it does great things, then you should be able to do more of that. And that's why we want to help people in the way that we do. And this is why we teach people how to scale their businesses and create their own frameworks, and how to understand their data and master their money so that they can operate their business from anywhere in the world. And that is the reason that we do that. Now, for other people, scaling might look like you want to have a $1 billion empire, but you want to be completely removed from the day-to-day of your business, and that is okay. And the goal here is merely to help you start to be more intentional about what does it actually look like to scale your business, because I want this to be simple for you. And I think that where people get tripped up is that they use somebody else's definition of scaling, or they never even actually thought about it for themselves. And so it intimidates them, or they're trying to actually grow and scale their business, but it's so challenging, more difficult than it actually should be, because they're trying to attach somebody else's meaning to their own. And that's not how we want to go about this. And so it goes back again to what is the vision and the mission and the values that align with your business. But some of the examples that I thought about is, there are a lot of women out here that want to scale businesses, but they still want to be able to take their kids to school every morning. They want to be able to fully immerse themselves in that opportunity, in that experience every morning. They don't want to be thinking about their business while they're driving their kid to school. They want to be talking about what they're going to bake tonight after they get home and get the homework finished for next week's bake sale, or tomorrow's. God, maybe we don't want it to be next week's, because the baked goods might not be last that long, but you get what I'm saying. And then you want to be able to have dinner with your family every night. Like, that is a non-negotiable for you. You can absolutely build a business around those non-negotiables and scale it. But the problem that a lot of people have is that they will make it okay to sacrifice those things in the name of scaling, and then they end up with this business that grew, made a lot of money, it's huge, but they sacrifice the wrong things to get there, and they're not actually happy. And that's not what business should be. Business truly should support your life. It should support the life of the people that you hire, the life of the people that your life, because if yours is not supported, then what you actually don't realize is that there are places where your ability to have a better business, to have a greater impact, is lacking, is suffering, because you're sacrificing the wrong things to get there. And so envisioning what is your role as the business scales, this is something that, when we think about CEOs of businesses, we want to help the CEOs really be the CEO. And when I think about a CEO, I think about the person that drives growth. They drive that inspiration. They drive the vision. They make sure that the vision is big enough to encompass the dreams and the goals of the people that are within that ecosystem. And so where are you at in that? Do you want to be that person that gets to do that? Or are you more of the integrator person that is going to be the driver of making sure that the dreams come to fruition? What does that look like as you grow and scale? Do you want to step back from daily operations, or do you want to stay hands-on? I was speaking with a lady that owns a med spa a few months ago, and she was like, I still want to be in the treatment room and see some of my patients. And I love that for her. But what you don't want is to have to be in the treatment room. So there's the difference, is the have to versus the want to. So where do you want to be at in your business versus where do you feel like you're stuck? And so thinking about, like, what are the challenges, or what are the things that really come to mind? And a lot of it for people really comes back to leadership. It comes back to understanding, okay, how am I delegating effectively? Where am I afraid to ask for help? Where am I not holding my team accountable, even though there are these performance measures in place and they know what they're supposed to be doing, but they're not doing it? How am I holding them accountable? And so, one of the last things that I think about when it comes to this question, what does scaling look like for you? And just being able to visualize that. And, what are the aspects of your business that you want to grow? Like, are you focused on your revenue? Are you focused on your team size? Are you focused on your audience? Or what does that look like? And the thing with that is, what does it mean when you actually grow your revenue? What does it mean when you grow your team size? Because I think back again to your values. What is important for you? Are you working toward financial freedom? If you're working toward financial freedom, why is that? If you want to be able to spend more time with your family, what are you going to be able to do to support that? Because the thing is that this is possible. Scaling a business is absolutely possible. There are things about business that you got to understand, that every single business that has ever come, that has ever gone, there's principles that they have to follow. You have to serve people. They have to get value from what you have to offer. You have to be able to control your cost. You've got to be able to be profitable. These are things that every business has to be able to maintain. You don't want to over leverage yourself with debt, with people, with assets, with things like that, right? And so every business would be successful if they understood and adhered to these principles, and if you just stick to it long enough. And so I don't want, what my goal is for you for this is that you can define what it looks like for you to scale your business. And at the end of the day, it just helps you to see, like, what is actually important for me and why is this important for me? And using your business to be able to support that and simplify your business, because so many people make their business unnecessarily complicated, for largely because they're not clear on this stuff. And I was just talking with a friend of mine. We're working on we were practicing for $1 Million Med Spa workshop that we're going to be hosting here in a few days. And we were helping people to understand why it's so important to go through and define what is your unique method of providing value to people, because I'm sure this is the same with so many other industries. I know it's certainly the case even for what I do. There's going to be some piece of equipment, there's going to be some asset, there's going to be this brand new treatment that is going to revolutionize the skincare industry or something like that. All of those things come up. And what I see happens is that people are not intentional about their business, about the results that they want to get people. And so they just stick themselves into, yeah, I'm in this industry, and they start to mesh in there and nobody can distinguish who they are. So they're not actually this industry of one. They take on all of these products and services in the name of making money. And then they wake up one day and they're like, I am just so unfulfilled, and I don't want to do this anymore. But they've gotten themselves into a position where they don't really see a way out of it, though. And we don't want that. And so we want you to be intentional about it. And going back to, this is why this will always be your vision, understanding what scaling and growing and just even establishing this business looks like for you, and being aware that if you don't do this, you will absolutely wake up one day and realize that you're not happy, that you are questioning, like, what have I built? Like, I don't even know how I got here. And that's not the kind of questions we want you to be asking yourself. We want you to be able to wake up and be so grateful that you worked so hard and you stayed focused, you kept it simple, and that you just stayed committed to it and you scaled it, and you really have the definition of a scalable business that supports your life. And you have this amazing team under you where you have been able to transform their life. You've been able to help freedom. You've been able to help them have experiences and things that they would have otherwise never had. And so scaling is not just making more money. I think that is just the thing about money, is that we have to look at it, I think, in terms of this kind of conversation, that is only going to be the result of you stepping into your greatness and stepping into what is important to you and not wavering on that, not negotiating on that. And it makes me think about this conversation that I saw. There's an account on Instagram I follow, and I can't remember the name of it now. I'm sure a lot of you follow it as well. And this kid goes around and he interviews these very wealthy people. And he interviewed a guy that is a billionaire, and he actually became a billionaire off of the cannabis industry. I think he was the first billionaire from the cannabis industry, if I recall correctly. And the guy asked him, what is a difference between millionaires and billionaires when it comes to negotiation? And the guy said that billionaires don't negotiate. And I thought that was really fascinating. And it comes to it makes me raise the question of, did he not negotiate to get to $1 billion, or did he get to be a billionaire and then realize he didn't have to negotiate? And I think it's the first one. I think that it is that person that is unwavering and committed to, these are my non-negotiables. My family comes first. Spending time with my kids and being able to have dinner with them every single night is not negotiable. And you're going to lead by example through that. And people want to be part of a movement where people don't compromise their standards for the sake of money or trying to get ahead or trying to scale their business. And it's absolutely possible. So looking at what that looks like for you, and what do you actually need to sacrifice, and what should you not be sacrificing? So just something that I want you to be able to reflect on as you go into your week ahead. And simply understanding that scaling is not about doing more. It's about doing more of what matters most. So if that resonated with you, I would love for you to share this with somebody that could really take value from this as well, especially if you know they're struggling and you want to help them be more intentional about the life and the business that they're building. So don't forget to subscribe and tag us on Instagram with your biggest takeaway, and stay connected with us by joining our email list. But otherwise, have a great week ahead, and let's grow, y'all.